What do you wish for?
Oh, what do I wish for? I personally wish for in my life that I make the fullest impact I can on my clients, my students, in my world, my family, that I don't leave anything on the table when my time to go is here, that I have sung fully my song. And I wish that for others. I wish that at least, for those that come into my world, that's my passion, is to help them develop that too. But, you know, especially for women, I feel like, that's my passion is for women, because, all throughout history, women have been marginalized and abused and shut down and all of that stuff. And that was my story, as a woman abused by men and taken advantage of and told I wasn't good enough and told to be quiet and all of that. And I see that a lot in women. It's this cultural thing that happens, and also things that happen to us in our lives, that we feel like somehow, we should diminish who we are, or we shouldn't shine our light because maybe we're shining too much, and, we should take a back seat. But my wish for women is that they know the fullest of who they know their fullest selves, and that they step into their power and they just take their place on that stage of life and be the star of their own story and shine their light without apology, without, trying to dim it because you might be too much, without worrying about whether or not other people approve or disapprove. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you approve of yourself and that you fully shine and don't hold back, because the world needs that. We need every person to shine, but especially women, because women have so much to share, and the world is a better place when women are fully shining their light, not to take over and outshine men. And, I think that's sometimes the fear. But no, because it complements and it completes. And when we are walking that out fully, we are completing the world. We are bringing something that needs, it's like that puzzle piece that's still missing. You got to bring that, who you are, to fill that space that only you can fill. And so that's my wish, is for women to really embrace that. And I think this world would be a much better place.
Definitely. Definitely. And, it's important to recognize, especially as a woman, that, men don't share their expertise or their stories in order to dim women.
No.
They're just sharing their story and giving their
Yeah.
sharing all of their knowledge.
Yeah.
So same with
Exactly.
us. It's not a tit for tat or anything like that. It's just that we have a platform also that we can speak and share all of the goodness that we know. Now, I want to ask, does a woman or does somebody have to share their story in order to have an impact?
Good question. Well, I teach a lot on storytelling, and I'm really into stories. I don't want to say you don't have to do anything, but I feel like, and this is what I teach my people, is like your story, your personal why story. I mean, you don't have to get into all the details of things that happen to you in order to effectively share your authentic why story, why you do what you do, and, why you are, like for me, my personal trauma story actually is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So to find that why story, I feel like is really important for you to know it. Not that you have to share it everywhere. I don't share mine everywhere, but knowing it and being able to articulate it and share it, I think is really important. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, it helps people know who you are. It helps your people know who you are and why you do what you do. And it creates a connection. Stories connect. So, although I wouldn't say you have to share it to be successful or to have an impact, but when you do, from a place of authenticity and a place where you've really processed through it, you're not going to fall apart when you share it. So I would say that for sure. But when you're sharing it from this honest place, from your heart, and from a place of passion, it creates a connection, and it makes a greater impact than if you're just giving information without the story. So that's what I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out to those listening live. Thank you for being here and hanging out with Janelle and I while she shares some of her story. I want to ask, what do you do for work? Let us know what your business is, how you help all the humans.
Yes. So I am a confidence coach for women entrepreneurs. And especially, I help women to find their voice, speak their message, learn how to speak and tell your story, learn how to speak, confidently and powerfully. So we work on speaking skills, storytelling skills, but especially for women entrepreneurs, because being able to speak will put you out in front of more of your ideal audience and draw people to you. And I found that a lot of times women are afraid to speak. Public speaking is scary. Speaking is scary. So I help them find that message and find that story and build that confidence. And then from there, help them build their business from there. But it starts with finding your voice and really honing your message. And I just published a book in January, which is more of a self-development, self-improvement, and it has my story in it. So there's this area where I help women to peel away all those layers of false belief and really find who they truly are. So more of that inner work so that they can shine, because sometimes that has to happen before you can actually share your story and find your voice. So I do kind of both of those, the inner work and then just working on honing your message and finding your voice and sharing it with confidence.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What is your big dream for Emergent Life Coaching?
So my big dream is to create a community of women. What I would love is if women come through my programs, they stay connected within my community and become mentors for other women. I would love to build a community of women who have shed those shame stories, have stepped into their light. They're doing what they love doing. They've found their voice, and now they want to help other women do the same. So I don't want to just see women like come through and then they leave and don't, I never hear from them again. I want to create a community of women helping other women and just pouring into each other and being there for each other. So I've created a mastermind that I hope will develop into that sort of community. Because I think community and connection is the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. 100.
Yeah.
What's some advice you would give to a female listening now, either live or on the replay, who feels as if they're lacking in confidence?
Yeah, I would say stop the negative self-talk. Number one. I have this talk I've done before, and it's one of my podcast episodes, and it's titled Talk Nice to Yourself. Because what you're saying internally, your internal dialogue and how you talk to you is so important. It's more important than what anybody else says to you, honestly. And I found that most of us, most women especially, are putting ourselves down. We are our worst critic. And we're thinking these thoughts of, that was stupid what you just said, or, who do you think you are to do that? Or, you need to straighten up, you need to lose weight, you need to do this, you need to do that, and look how stupid you are. All that stuff rolling around in our head about, putting ourselves down and criticizing ourselves. We are the hardest on ourselves. We would never speak that way to others in our lives. And so that's the first thing, is what are you saying to yourself? Take a step back and start looking at your thoughts. Think about what you're thinking about. Think about the way that you're talking to yourself, even internally, and also verbally out loud. But even what you're saying to yourself internally, what are those thoughts that come up for you? And write them down, and then create a better thought. Create a thought that empowers you, that champions you. Be your best friend. Be your own best friend. What would you say to your best friend? Even if you mess up, that's okay. Failure is not bad. Failure actually teaches us things. It shows us that, oh, well, that didn't work, so let me try a new way. How can I learn from that? So if you begin to talk to yourself like, and even go and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, you're doing the best you can. You're awesome. Look what you did. Look what you accomplished. So what if it didn't work out? You can learn from this, and just like talk to yourself like the best cheerleader, your own cheerleader. Be your own best friend and really begin to work on changing that inner dialogue from being negative to being compassionate and kind and uplifting, and tell yourself how great you are. Tell yourself, hey, you did a good job there. You're amazing. I've done that, many times, and it feels weird at first, but I'll often just go look at myself and say, you're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember it took me a while to get to that point. My backstory is abusive. And I remember even just thinking about saying I'm amazing would like elicit just so much emotion, not even saying it,
Yes.
just thinking about saying it. And then, finally being able to say it, but like barely say it without crying. So yeah, it does take some time, and talking nice to yourself.
Yeah, it
That's
feels
great.
weird at first, because we're so used to the way we've been talking to ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think we kind of on a maybe subconscious level feel like if we talk nice to ourselves, if we say we're amazing, we're being prideful or we're boasting. And so it's really more humble to put yourself down.
Yeah. I do think that's a lot of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I've actually thought to myself that I need to do a little more research on why that is. Because it really doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's on my bucket list of things out of all. There's so much, but that's one of the things. Like, why do we have to feel this overwhelming urge to be humble in all the areas all the time, and anything that remotely looks like we're happy for ourselves is a bad thing?
Yeah. I mean, we don't treat other people that way.
Yes.
Treat your daughter that way. I would never tell my daughter that she's stupid or dumb, or, that was a stupid thing to do, or, you're not good enough or whatever, never, of course not. So why would you talk to yourself that way?
So crazy.
It is. And it makes it hard for us to love other people when we don't love ourselves. So it's loving yourself. It's valuing yourself. It also impacts your relationships, because if you're not valuing yourself, you're not showing up in your relationships, fully as you, and in an empowered way. You're feeling bad about yourself. So you're either going to start comparing yourself to others, or, you're going to be jealous, or you're going to judge other people because you aren't happy with you. But when you're happy with you, the comparison to other people goes away. You're happy that they're wonderful, and you're happy to tell them that because you feel good about who you are. So it's super important to explore that and find out what is going on.
Yes. Where's social media? Where are you most active? Where can people find you?
Right now, probably more Facebook, but I am trying to jump into LinkedIn a lot more. I do have a Facebook page, Emerging Life Coaching, and a group called Women Emerging Fearlessly. And then LinkedIn is also Emerging Life Coaching. And I do a little on Instagram, but I haven't mastered that yet.
I'm pretty active on Facebook too. That's my most active, but that's where all my groups are and stuff. I was just talking to one of my girls that I'm looking to her for inspiration for LinkedIn, because she's doing phenomenal on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've got a friend
I'm like, I just watch what you're doing, and you're giving me inspiration. So she got a good laugh out of that. Well, for those of you that are listening live or on the replay, Janelle's website is right above her head area. So you can screenshot that or click in the description to learn a little bit more about her, and follow her on social media to hear all the goodness that she's sharing in her world. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up here, Miss Janelle?
Well, I just would encourage, anybody listening to go for it. Just go for it. Yeah. Be who you are. Give yourself permission just to be who you are. There's a quote, I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of my favorite quotes. He said, to be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to make you be someone else is the greatest accomplishment.
Yes.
Yeah. So be yourself, be you, and shine your light.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you for joining us here on Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share, I've struggled to triumph, be sure to reach out to me here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others.